You're all set to begin.
Okay, great. Okay, so welcome everybody to the March 11th meeting of the Open Space Committee. Let's start by an introduction of our members. I'm Ann Kennedy, I'm the chair.
Elisa Crowley from Barnstable.
Tracy Pratt from Santuit.
Doug Payson, Barnstable Village.
And we have a guest.
Janet Milkman, Barnstable Land Trust.
Thank you.
Farley Lewis, Hyannisport. Ann Rowland, Centerville.
Lev Malakoff, Centerville.
Jenna Zeno, Administrative Assistant.
Thank you very much. I have to read the notice of recording. This meeting of the Open Space Committee is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel in accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, subsection 20. I must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, make your presence known. Seeing none, we'll continue. So we have the minutes of February 12th to approve. Has everybody been able to read those minutes? Are there any revisions or corrections? So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve.
I move that we accept the minutes as read.
Thank you. And is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tracy. Okay, we have a very welcome guest this evening to talk about a very welcome subject.
I'm sorry, Chair, shouldn't we vote on?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. You want to vote for that? Okay. Okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Thank you for the parliamentary
Yes.
reminder. Okay, I'm so excited to get to the next thing here. We have been waiting for conservation restrictions on these three properties since before 2015. So we are very happy that you are here with us, and the floor is yours, Ms. Milkman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, these three CRs actually were started, the properties acquired and the CRs drafted before I even came to Barnstable Land Trust, which was in 2017. So it's very exciting to actually be getting to the point of bringing them to here and to Town Council for a vote. So there are three of them. The first one I will talk about is 71 Harju Road in Centerville, which is part of the 35-acre Lumbert Pond Conservation Area. I don't know if we want to show the map.
Yeah, let's do.
Yep, so this is Harju, and you've all, I think, seen copies of the CRs? Yeah, okay. It is entirely within the biomap, the state designated rare species core habitat, and it really, an important addition to the existing conservation area. Also in Zone 2, wellhead protection.
Is everything pink in the map, is that all conservation land?
That's the Lumbert Mill.
This pink.
Conservation area?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes. It says conservation area. Is that part of it?
This is the conservation area, this is,
Oh, all right, Harju's done.
but these, let's see, it's a good question. This says municipal, so I believe this is great. So,
Okay. So
yeah.
where is
So we're adding
Harju?
this
Is the
piece.
red
Yeah.
piece? Okay. So it is a connecting to the conservation area. That was my point. Thank you.
Yep. Do you want to vote on these separately or just all together?
Yeah, I think we should do them separately and vote on them separately.
Okay.
So what are the major changes? As we've gone through the system, it's been back and forth to the state. Have there been any major changes since the town council first looked at it when I was still on a town council?
I think that the changes are really making the CRs consistent with the new state model. New, a couple years old now, but I think that's what the changes are, so.
So it's more active recreation, less, or more passive recreation?
Not necessarily
Or
any changes in use, just in.
Language and style?
Language, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some,
That took 6, 7 years, 8 years? Oh, okay. It's not you. You're
hey,
the
we're
messenger.
celebrating that they're here, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah, so, again, this was purchased, this one, I can't remember when this one was purchased, but the three of them were purchased between 2014 and 2016, and along with the Sandy Neck CR, which for some reason got done sooner, but.
Yeah, I wrote that one. That was, I won't say that's why it got done, but, it had to be done, so it was done.
Yeah.
This is 2014, though, Harju was before this. So is there a trail system through this area?
Yep, there is trails. Yep.
Section of it.
And
Yep.
so there's public access, and do we have any, we don't care at this point with it, because we've already purchased it, we don't care about anything else. So it's just,
think so.
this is a requisite of purchasing land through the Community Preservation Act.
Exactly, and, I should have said in the beginning that Barnstable Land Trust is the holder of these 3 CRs on these properties, which just means that we'll be monitoring and making sure that there's no prohibited uses that are happening on the property and, everything else.
So it's the standard prohibitive uses, okay.
Would Barnstable Land Trust be looking at the overall parcel or just this little bit of it?
That piece,
Okay.
yes. I don't think we hold OCR on the rest of it.
I think there are various ownership within the pink area. I know the town owns some of it, and so, okay, so let's, should we put that to a motion to recommend approval to the town council and the Conservation Commission would be the sense of the motion. Would anybody like to make that motion?
I want to make
Okay, thank you.
that
All
one.
right, thank you for that one. And anybody want a second?
Please.
Okay, thank you, Farley. So all in favor of suggesting approval of this to the town council and the Conservation Commission? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Anybody opposed? Okay. All right, so Janet, what's next?
So moving on is 111 Prince Ave in Marston's Mills. This is a parcel that is owned by the town near to the access to Prince Cove, across from a big chunk of across the street from a big chunk of conservation land, some of it owned by Barnstable Land Trust. The Nature Conservancy holds a CR on it. It's basically adjacent to a big swath of protected land, really important land along the Marston's Mills River, where it enters into Warren Cove and Prince Cove there.
This was the one that was actually put forward at the town council on the same day as the Sandy Neck one. This particular one.
I think there were some issues related to wanting to
Parking.
keep some of it available for overflow parking from, the boat ramp at Prince Cove.
I think there's a hill there, so it was not,
It's a very steep hill,
there was not possible to do this. Although parking's allowed in the conservation, under a conservation
Yes,
restriction.
you can have that be a permitted use.
But I think that, if I remember correctly, the topography was such that the parking was not able to be realized, parking arrangement.
Yes, it does allow installation, maintenance, and use of an unpaved parking area.
Okay.
Installation. May be used by the general public to access premises for passive recreation and to access Prince Cove Town Landing. So there is a significant part of it that's pretty level.
It's level?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right, so that's great. So can I, is there somebody that wants to make a motion to recommend approval to the town council of the conservation restriction at 111 Prince Avenue?
Moved.
Okay, thank you.
Second,
Is there a
second.
second?
Second.
Thank you, Tracy. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you. Moving on to 230 Old Colony Road, also known as Amaral.
Right. So this, if we go to the next map, this again is abutting an existing conservation parcel that the town owns. This piece here. And I think it was, I don't know if anyone's seen it lately, it's pretty overgrown with Phragmites.
Oh,
But the intent was, I think, at the time, that it could be a kayak launch, and that is a.
yes, I remember
an
that.
allowed use.
Oh, okay.
So that's not on the table anymore?
Well, it could be. I mean, it depends what happens, whether, any of that waterway is restored.
It would be hard to get underneath. It's just really a pipe that goes underneath Ocean Street to get from
Get out to the bay, yeah.
Yeah.
to get
Oh, to get out to
Lewis
the bay.
from there. There
Okay.
isn't a passageway.
Okay.
I saw a lot of some kind of fish in there though, and not river herring, but something else, like
Yeah.
a million of them.
So you couldn't travel, but you could go fishing there or something like that.
The water quality looked poor. But when I read the description of the potential for a kayak landing, would there be parking along Old Colony Way? Was that the thought?
I don't think there is room for parking there. That's a
Because
good
it looks
question.
pretty wet,
Yeah,
the whole
Yeah.
parcel.
right. It's a good question where the parking would be.
Remember, it's changed since 2014. So that, I
Yes.
remember it was the intent of having a more active recreation area than I think is probably possible now.
It was 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10, yes.
Well, at some point, we're going to do planning, right? And maybe having the culvert opened up.
Restoration
Would
work
help
on
with the
the-
water flow and get your kayak there.
Exactly, right.
Well, because there's sort of a steep bank there where that culvert is. It wouldn't be easy for people to cross the road there.
Okay, so is that all that you want to say about that, Janet?
Yes, I was just looking to see whether it said anything about parking. But I don't.
I couldn't find it. I read the whole thing and I couldn't
Yeah,
find anything.
I don't see it.
What were
Right.
you looking for? I'm sorry?
If there was
Language
any
about
parking to access the property,
Yeah, I don't remember that detail.
Seems like a,
and it's wet across the street, see the,
I mean, parking is pretty restricted there, because they're always,
because the ferries.
the ferries, yeah.
I wonder if you can park on any of the side streets.
I think it was really to connect to that other conservation area, and maybe that was the intent to utilize that
It's E.
area to
E.
get into the parcel.
The installation of a gravel surface with prior written notice to the grantee and provided that all applicable federal, state, regional, and local approvals are obtained in advance, the installation of a gravel surface parking area on the upland portion of the premises and along Old Colony Road of a size suitable
Oh, right.
for no more than 3 cars, and an 8-foot wide access trail.
Right.
But I think in its current state, somebody probably wouldn't want to go in there. That's unfortunate.
What about the parcel that is adjacent to that? Could you access it through that parcel? The pink one on top of it? That might be what the intent was at the time.
The existing conservation area.
I know we were trying to couple
Yeah,
areas.
I think it's important
So-
habitat anyways.
Okay. So does anybody want to make any comments about this parcel? Does anybody want to make a motion to suggest approval to the town council?
So moved.
Okay, any second?
Second.
Thank you, Ann. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All three, I will write a letter to the town council president and also Tom Lee, the Conservation Commission chair, who I think he said that he was planning to have his meeting this week.
The 19th, so next
19th,
week.
that's
yeah.
right.
Thank
Okay.
you very much.
He was trying to coordinate
May I
with
ask,
us.
is there any time constraint on that? I mean, I know it's been 10 years.
No, apparently not. The time constraint is that it was not timely filed with the purchase of the property 10 years ago, so we're late, but, if we're a little later, it won't matter, I guess. But will you let us know when this has been recorded? I will throw myself a party.
Yeah, I think it's got to go through, I have to take it to my own board, but that's going to happen, all of it should happen within the next 2 months. All
Okay.
of the committees and the town
All right.
council.
Okay, so it doesn't have to go anywhere again. It's here, gets signed, and then...
Gets signed, and then it goes back to the state to get their signature, and then comes back. But they've reviewed it.
Okay,
It's not going to change.
They rewrote it.
They rewrote it. Yeah, so it's been approved for local signatures, so.
okay, great, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's what we need
Terrific.
to be able to.
Do we have anything else in the horizon that we are going to be looking at?
The Wheeler CR, that should be available soon. Yeah, and, fingers crossed.
What happened with the Wheeler one? I thought it was settled.
The Wheeler property?
Yeah, we're closing in June. The CRs, one of the CRs has been approved for local signature. The other one is hopefully going to happen soon. And everything else is moving along. We've done almost all of the fundraising for it. Yeah, yeah.
Has that one been before the town council?
Yes, the CPA, they've authorized the CPA funding.
Okay, all right, that's what I thought. All
So
right.
it's just the CR that needs their approval now.
So we have to see it again?
You'll see the CR,
Yeah, yes, okay.
and then,
So is there any other ones in the horizon?
no, not that far along
Okay,
to be ready
all right,
for you guys.
okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
All right, so you may stay if you'd like or leave if you'd like, whichever.
Anything
It's always
else?
nice to see you. Okay, where's my agenda? Okay, thank you. All right. The next one is an update on the pathways and the library. I thank Lev and I thank Farley for sending me information on Crooked Cartway. I have sent that over to Alyssa, and she hasn't responded yet, but I imagine she will. And I'm going to invite her for the April meeting, just so we can keep this going. Doug and Kate, were you going to get together and talk about urban walkways?
Kate and I had planned to meet, and then we had multiple weather
issues.
interruptions. I wrote her, and I have not heard back from her, so I'm thinking that she's away.
Yes, that would be correct.
I don't know, I knew she wasn't coming tonight, but,
Well, I wrote her, and she didn't respond, so
Okay.
I'm thinking
I
that
think she's out of town for,
she's out of town. So we will, as when I hear back from her, I had some ideas already of some routes, and one of the things, Kris Clark had reached out to the Zion Heritage Museum
Yep.
in regards to whether we could do a legacy walk and end up at the Zion Heritage Museum,
Yep.
which I think would be an excellent idea.
so, yeah, I thought that was a good idea, and also maybe coupled with the JFK walk, so you have two alternatives. That would make it two really good urban walks. And of course, you already have one for Barnstable Village. And I don't know where else would be suitable, but
Osterville Walk, maybe? An Osterville.
Osterville Walk.
What about Centerville?
Well, that's it. Maybe we get one in each village.
Yeah, it would be nice, but I'm trying to think of how that would work. But yeah, I mean, sure,
about that cranberry bog in Centerville.
go through it. No, okay, can't do that. Yeah, so get busy. So
No,
that's your sign.
we had planned to meet, and then it rained.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've seen a lot of
it's been doing that a lot, so, all right.
If I may, that Zion Museum, it would be of great interest, but I'm still looking to get information. Their website is a little bit out of date, and I'm not sure we can couple it with a outdoor green walk anywhere. I tried to look around that area,
Yeah.
so
I think you missed your calling. You should be a webmaster.
I would say even just on the streets, there's interest, and maybe map out some historical points.
that's a good idea.
Pocket parks
Yeah.
that where the multi-use path that's on C Street. There's a lot. I found tremendous interest when
I
I
know you
did the downtown Hyannis walks.
I know you did. That's why I'm jumping right on that same theme.
Yeah, I think there was it was interesting that I didn't get anybody to go practically to go in the woods, and it may also be comfort level with people that people may be more comfortable walking on a sidewalk than
Oh, yeah.
than
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, they can do that. 7 o'clock in the morning.
True. So, what did I hear? Was it you that said something about Hathaway's Pond?
We're talking about walking weekend or walking loops or?
Just maps, because I don't think there's a Hathaway's Pond trail map on our library. Is there, Farley?
There may not be.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think there is, but
you're
we have
probably right.
had that walk before.
Yep, Kate did it.
But you said,
Yep.
I think somebody said there was some issues with that walk, that trail right now?
Well, I guess we're kind of blending walking weekend a little bit because I think the walks we do for walking weekend can
Yeah.
also become.
Yeah, I'm talking
walking
the library right now, really.
So the loop walk around the pond, which I think Kate did in the last session, and now we're getting into geocaching as well, because we were thinking of
That's what I
using
said,
that as the
yeah.
location for the geocache introduction to folks who would be interested in it. So there are 3 geocaches around the pond that currently exist. So I've been in touch now with the person who is the caretaker of them. And so they're aware of this interest and they're supportive. And they would, refresh them, make sure that they're all, pristine.
Yeah.
And we had hoped to launch a new geocache for the event so that there'll be something new.
Yeah.
Which we can get into that a little
Yeah.
bit later. But, so Kate, I did send an email to Kate and I did get a response. So she's she hasn't committed to any Hathaway's Walk. I didn't want to like overlap or have a conflict, but what we probably do is, an intro for half an hour and then do a walk around the pond.
That'd be great, yep. Yeah, getting into geocaching, I have been back and forth with Grace about how far along they are, and I've been trying to encourage her to look at other towns, because other towns have done it successfully, and to include you and Doug in the conversation, and also to include the Cassie in the conversation. I don't know how far along any of that is, but I know that the town is looking into a policy about geocaching.
That's what we saw.
Yeah, I mean, Mashpee has a policy, so that's why I suggested that they look at Mashpee. And I sent her the link that you had sent me and the map, the website, Mashpee's website and stuff, but I don't know. You haven't heard from her, I guess.
No, I mean, maybe we should, as Open Space Committee, and I could help, think about doing these types of policies and then sharing them with the town.
Yeah, it doesn't usually work that way with the town, but you certainly could, we certainly could write a suggestion and then pass it on, and that might or might not be accepted. So, yeah, I mean, yeah.
This one doesn't seem like it should be that complicated.
No, I don't think it is too complicated, but we'll make it complicated.
Is it correct to think that it can't really move forward with geocaching until the town pronounces its guidelines? Or
Well, they want to make sure it doesn't conflict with, doesn't threaten the environment and,
So do they have to approve
and safety
each?
reasons, I think.
So the reason why
Yeah.
I don't think there has to be a policy per se. The
Yeah.
geocaching procedure is to identify a location. The person who will be the caretaker
Okay.
will approach the land manager, like BLT now has 2 geocaches
Okay.
on their Fuller Farm property.
Oh.
So they work with whoever is responsible for the parcel and make sure that it's not going to be in a sensitive area or have conflicts with,
Yeah.
getting run over by somebody.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the policy of the geocaching system. You have to give that information in order to activate it. You have to have a phone number, a contact, or it won't appear in the list. So I think that's already covering a lot of those concerns, but
Yeah.
I'm
So
not
it
sure
would be
what the-
great, Chris, if you could facilitate maybe having the people that are formulating the policy invite some of the people that are familiar with geocaching into the conversation to talk about different perceived issues and maybe work through those in conversation. Because it's not a new thing. It's been tried and successfully carried out in other towns.
For many years.
Year
Wondering what you were doing over there.
2000, I think, is when it started.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's a
been
long
out for
time.
More than 20 years.
What?
It's been out a long time.
Oh, yeah, and other people do it all over the state, so it's not a new thing.
And, I mean, a lot of people didn't even realize it's happening, because it's
Yeah,
supposed to be low impact.
you
and
know,
not-
right, I mean, I think
not
it's.
constructing anything or
Yeah, I think
tipping
it's,
things over. You just
I think it actually encourages good stewardship. It gets people out on the trail, so you have less possibility of mischievous people on the trails, because you have more population on the trail. I mean, you have kids and with adults, so it's educational. I think it teaches respect.
Yeah, the person's name is Marla Colarusso, who is the caretaker. And she was very interested in having what they call a cash in, trash out event at Hathaway's, because Hathaway's, as you know, gets a lot of activity.
yeah.
And a lot of stuff gets spread around the whole property that
Yeah.
doesn't go into the bin necessarily. So that's one of their service models, is to, you
Yeah.
have this, and you also are making the the area looks.
Yeah, so I think it's a very positive movement. So whatever you can do to move that along, Kris, it would be appreciated. Okay, so pathways, weekend, how's that going, Farley?
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, if you wanted to bring that up now, that'd be great. So, right now we have 4 walks that have come in, and so, and they're, the one at Meeting House Farm, I don't know that we've actually got it nailed down as to what day and time that is going to be, but they're interested in doing a pollinator walk. So
A pollinator walk?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm going to encourage everybody who's interested in leading a walk to let me hear from you. And,
So what is the
What are the
weekend?
walks right now? What
Right
do you
now.
have?
What villages?
Okay, right now we have, Mark Robinson is going to do the length of Katuitt Walk, and that's on May 18th at 8:30. BLT is going to do also Saturday, May 18th at 7:30. They're doing a birding walk, and that's going to be, I think, right there at their location.
Marston's Mills?
So isn't that Bridge Creek?
Pardon?
Isn't that Bridge Creek?
It sort of, yeah, I mean.
Right near there.
It's in
Pogorg
that
property?
Barnstable then?
The Pogorg.
Pogorg, yep.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's
Right
West
by their
Barnstable.
headquarters.
Yep, right. And then the pollinator, so we haven't gotten a specific date or time on that. And the town of Barnstable, the Barnstable Clean Water Coalition has submitted a walk for Friday, May 17th at 10 a.m. In Marston's Mills. It's going to be their Marston's Mills Cranberry Bog
Oh, great.
Restoration Walk, which has
Oh.
been a very
Well,
popular
that's a
one.
good one.
That'll be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got so far, and I'm encouraged by that. I think they're
Yeah, that's
gonna be
very good. You got some
Yeah.
diverse groups.
Yeah, so,
So we need Hyannis, Centerville, Osterville.
well, put your thinking caps on and
Farley,
think
I
of
did send
something.
you one. I hope you find it somewhere.
Oh,
Saturday,
okay.
the 10th of that weekend, I'll do the college walk.
Okay, all
But
right, I'll
I'm
look for it.
basically copying what we did in the fall.
Yeah, oh, great, okay.
But
don't know
I'll
if
try to
I-
look if you don't find it. And
Okay, yeah,
then the geocaching intro, even if we don't have new geocaches to do, would be 9 a.m. Sunday, the 19th,
At
at
Hathaway's.
Hathaway's parking.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
beach
So that's a
parking.
Barnstable Village one.
So,
Sure.
great.
We need-
Have you
we need
asked
an
Nina
Osterville,
for Sandy Neck?
Hyannis, and a Centerville.
Did reach out to her. I haven't heard anything back.
Because they always do one.
Yeah, I had, so I'm about to send a reminder out to people.
How about Ian Ives at
Yeah,
Long Pasture?
I was in touch with Lily Peterson, who's,
I know Luann, yeah.
With BLT.
yeah, she used to be with BLT. And, I mentioned, she's in the loop with walks and such. And so I'm going to, get in touch with her again and see if, there's anything.
They might have a nice evening walk, because isn't that when the
Woodcocks?
yeah,
Woodcocks.
woodcocks
Something the other day.
fly up? Yeah, do that number? So, yeah.
What you're talking about.
So we might be able to coordinate that. I always go to that. That's
Okay.
cool.
All
Yeah.
right, so, anyway, okay, so Liv, you have 2, and.
So we should have a date when this goes out to the news. So we
Yeah,
get-
exactly.
Yeah, so we'd be able to do this really
I would love
fast.
to get people's ideas on a deadline. I think as far as submission is concerned, I was thinking, in the middle of, early April? Does that sound good, or a little bit later?
Before the end of March, maybe.
Even
I've
that
forgotten when the
early?
deadline is to get into the
Okay.
town's
Yeah,
newsletter.
Yeah, because then that gives
Yeah,
us 6
get
weeks
it on the
for the.
website. Do you know when you can?
Okay, so,
how
Maybe
long
the,
it takes to
maybe
get on the website?
the poison pen person with the globe, maybe they'd like to.
well, I did speak with one of the representatives for the Twin Brooks group, and they were interested in doing that walk in there, so,
Maybe they would do, that would be
yep,
fascinating.
they could, if, a lot kind of teeters on whether or not the property gets closed on, the purchase is complete. But she had already talked to the head of the golf program there, and he just needed to know when, so he could get the golfers off the golf course, so anyway.
Are you talking about Stuart?
Yeah, Twin Brooks.
Twin Brooks, yeah.
So, anyway, so I'm going to make sure that
Great.
she gets,
And how long do you, when, Gina is going to put together a pamphlet again?
Yeah.
So when do you need to get something?
So you said a suggested deadline of early April. That's definitely enough time for May
okay.
17th.
All right, so should we say April Fools?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
No one will believe it.
What did you say, tax day, April 15th?
That way you might have the draft brochure for our April meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Okay,
sounds like
all
a
right,
good
so
idea.
we'll-
I'll get
Okay,
on
I'm
it.
going to.
Sorry, I missed that. Was that a date that you come up with?
That would be one.
Did you come up with a date?
She said April 1st,
Oh, haha,
Monday.
that's April
That's one.
Fool's.
And then the
Yeah.
other one I
So
was thinking
that's
is.
coming up pretty fast,
Armstrong
Farley.
Kelly Park.
You sure you can do it?
Osterville.
Yeah.
It's coming up pretty fast. Do you-
April 1st?
Yeah.
Okay, or do you want to push it out?
They have,
It's
yeah.
up
I
to you.
went to the
You could
opening.
push, I think you probably could do April 15th, because then that's a whole month ahead.
Yeah,
You got to get a poster put together, you got to distribute the poster,
yeah.
you got to advertise it.
Descriptions.
Okay, so April 15th then. All right.
If everybody puts it on their Facebook, it would help,
Yeah, that would be great.
so, all
Okay,
right.
well, great. It's looking, robust at this point, I would say. So I'm anxious to get some more submissions
Great,
when people have a
great.
chance to do that. That'd be great.
So is there anything anybody wants to add about pathways, walking weekend, geocaching?
Both Lev and I were in contact, and Lev was really the point person on Cape Cod Community College reaching out to us about their health programs. And I had suggested to her the collaboration between Cape Cod National Seashore and Cape Cod Healthcare, Healthy Parks, Healthy People, where they do a program where you go to the Salt Pond Visitors Center, and there's a team of medical people who check your blood pressure and your heart rate, and then you go off and hike, and then you come back and they check you again, and they do it on Saturdays. And I thought the college could be a mid-Cape location
yeah.
for that, to have an outpost here,
Yeah.
and it would serve a completely different community. And they're kind of keyed in on the college community with both students and staff, but as part of their mission is the wider community.
Yeah,
So I've been in, and Lev, you can add to.
Yeah, we want to plan a little intro walk with the point person at the college on some Friday when the weather's good.
Yeah, but that I think could be incorporated, and it would also be good if we could somehow engage students at the college and students in our schools.
yeah,
Not just basically, people north of 55.
yeah.
But-
They might like geocaching, actually.
Oh, absolutely. That would be
That would be
maybe
a
be a
draw.
good way to engage younger people.
Have you thought about suggesting to your contact, I think her name is Nancy, is it? The contact with community college, the health person. Have you thought about inviting her to do a walk for walking weekend?
Well, I think I would definitely invite her, because the one that I sent to Farley was a walk at the college, so I'd
Yeah.
want to include her in that.
Yeah, so that might be your healthy heart walk. That might be your healthy heart walk.
Okay,
You
yeah.
know?
That could be
So-
the marketing. Get your hearts healthy. So to answer your question, yes, I just wanted to briefly update on the two projects that we discussed several times now. West Barnstable Trail Improvement that the Boy Scout brought forward as a Eagle Scout project. So I've had discussions with David Anthony and Grace. It seems like it's pushed back into the legal realm because they're concerned about liability. So I don't know how to unstick that, unfortunately.
So well, you guys are going to think about talking to the town manager. Have you made an appointment?
I have not.
Well, I felt after speaking to Kris that there were some things working out and that we should hold off on that, but maybe.
What is can you have anything to report on that?
No, except that they were looking at this broader issue about what trails did the town want to commit to on paper, legally, and for liability. Because they are tracking the paths that we have already submitted and going with their GPS machinery or device to bring all the trails up to grade as Alicia had discussed with us and when she showed us the work that they were doing. So because some of these trails were recorded with technology that's older than what they have now, they're bringing everything up to the same standard and the current standard.
So why is that holding up everything else? Why does that process have anything to do with anything else?
I'm not so sure.
I mean, the main work area is on the town's website as Cape Cod Pathways Green Trail.
Yeah.
You look at the Pathways map number 1, which is the West Barnstable segment, you'll see that it's designated as a hiking route. For reasons that are a little strange, the town changed the name of the trail to West Barnstable Biking Trail, even though it's really a hiking trail. And, I mean, bikes use it too, but it's a multi-use. So the trail name's a little weird. There's a reason for that, which I can get into on the, later, for the name that had been on it before wasn't appropriate. So they changed the name to West Barnstable Biking Trail. It is the Cape Cod Pathways Green Loop. They call them South Loop. The main trail is red, and there's blue, and there's green little side trip. So it's shown on the town's website as a trail that everybody's aware of as a hiking route. And you've been with us on the site to see the conditions. Yeah. Those conditions, even though the town doesn't have liability per se, because it's, people can go on property and walk around as long as you're not creating a hazard or charging for the use of the property. So that's true, and nobody's saying that the town is liable, but at the same time, as you saw the eroded conditions and loose rocks, it can be made safer. And that's really what the project's about. But they haven't gotten past that hurdle of, the whole legal issue.
And Tom Lee had already responded a couple of months ago through Conservation that they were looking to review the management plan. I think that was.
Well, I think the point is that it hasn't progressed past that.
I know.
So I think, I thought the last time we were together, Doug was going to try to make an appointment with the town manager. And, Kris, you can obviously go. But I don't think a whole bunch of us needs to go. But, you're familiar with the trail. That's why I suggested Doug and Lev go and talk about how we can push past this hurdle that we can't seem to get past.
Well, and I think it's important, Lev Malakoff, Kris Clark, and I went to the site. It's severely eroded. It's dangerous. We have someone who, at no cost to the town, a young person who would do this as a volunteer project and correct what's a hazard.
Well, you don't have to convince me, but you do have to convince.
No, but this is a public meeting, and I
Yeah,
think that
I
the
know.
public needs to know
Yeah.
that we have a situation where it's dangerous and it needs to be corrected. The town appears to not have the resources to do it, and we have a volunteer who's willing to do it for free.
Yeah. So what I'm suggesting is it's good that you aired it publicly, but I think the solution or the discussion needs to be carried to the town manager at this point. So, because I can't do anything about it.
I'll
mark
request a meeting, and I think Kris should join us because she's been at the site.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can only repeat what I'm hearing from you all because I have not been to the site. But that's why I suggest that it be you and Lev and Kris. I'll come if you think I'm needed, but I do think it's more effective if you go.
We've been to the site.
So,
And the other project, just to update, the signposts that have been installed, and since many of them, half of them, I guess, have been vandalized and
Yeah.
cut down and removed. The person, Terry Downey, who got the grant from Spalding for the materials, she has written up this nice the story of what the whole purpose of the thing is. So there may be some media coming out because she really wants to get them back up, but
Yeah.
obviously she doesn't want them cut down again.
yeah.
So part of it is education. What's the
Education.
purpose of, it's true, adaptive mountain bikers will be able to find the easy trails, but they're also will have the trail names. They'll be good for guidance for walkers, every other type of trail user. Emergency services will now have better information. If there is somebody who needs rescue, people can say, oh, I am on this such and such
Yep.
trail.
Yep.
Because before, you might have a GPS signal, but you don't know how to get
Yeah.
how to get to them.
Yeah.
And they'd have, the little numbered signs, which don't necessarily mean anything to
Yeah.
a lot of people. So the Mountain Bike Club did meet with the fire chief, who was very supportive, because he's the one that has to send people out. And
Yeah.
and they did have some issue with, unfortunately, somebody passed a couple years ago. So, any case, the idea that Terry is pushing forward is to have a ribbon cutting of some kind, probably at noon on April 13th on Saturday. If that's locked in, I will send the group or ask Ann to send a group to let them know if they want to come. So there might be.
Do you have to get permission from the town for that?
Well, so Terry Downey and I met with David and Grace last week to talk about that whole process.
Yeah.
So that's why Terry will be ready to do this. It remains to be seen if the town has any lingering concerns about having a ribbon cutting.
Okay, so how do you plan on resolving that?
Well, I guess we have a little time, but
Okay.
obviously,
Were you expecting to hear back from somebody?
yeah, from David and Grace.
So do you want to maybe remind him of that?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Terry just sent a letter to them today.
Okay.
So giving a little time to read it and then start doing follow-up.
Okay, all right. What was I going to say? In that education piece, it probably should be emphasized that this is an allowed use on that trail, because I think part of the issue with whoever cut it down is that they don't believe that that's a accepted use on the trail, and on that trail it is.
You mean the biking?
Bike.
or-
Well,
Bikes,
the project was informational signage
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah,
So, but.
But the biking community put them up.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's true.
so I think that was what the person
But
was upset
there
about.
was no, the only biking information, because they were just posts.
Yeah,
And the only biking information was the symbol for the adaptive cycles.
Yeah.
And that was just a paper, just to let anyone who looked at it realize.
Yeah.
Okay, this is. and
yeah,
then-
I understand that, but I think the person that was upset is upset because they perceive that the usage is being taken over by a different group, but it's an allowed use, so.
Yeah. And it was made clear.
It's supposed to be shared.
A person, and we don't know if the person, that
Yeah.
it was a permitted project. But
Yeah, I know you made it clear to him personally, but doesn't mean it was heard. So anyway, it doesn't hurt to broadcast that a little more.
Lev, I have a question. Has the Massachusetts Environmental Police been notified of the vandalism?
Not that I know of. The Barnstable police have. And whether-
I think the Mass Environmental Police should be engaged. I think with the extent of vandalism we have in our conservation areas now, it's reached that level, and I know the town has worked very hard, Kris Nappy, but it's probably a good segue. I noticed on the Treasure Trail now, all of the silt fencing that was put up has been removed.
Okay, so update on that.
Yes.
We're authorized now to remove the silt fencing. And I've taken the DEP sign down. There's a board that I'm going to
Yeah.
take down as well. So it now can go to nature.
Good.
We don't need to have
Okay,
the
so
plastic.
that was permitted.
Yeah, I checked because that was the question. Because the silt fence was only temporary, just to kind of guide people to stay here and not go that way.
The issue with the silt fence, where the trail used to go along the pond, is that now people are accessing that right during the breeding season for amphibians. By taking that silt fence out, people are going in there again.
Have you seen
And-
footprints and bike
No,
prints?
I've seen they took all the brush out of the way that I threw in front of it. And
More brush there, but the silt fence needs to come out because of the salamander migration. They need
So they
to
can
move.
traverse, right?
Yeah.
what I would like to see, if we could have the Conservation Commission formally close that trail and with signage.
That path.
That path, there's when the boardwalk project was done, the trail was moved to make a bend around, which was all staked, and it was, we were under two directives. One was to remove the trail from private property and beyond where the silt fence was on the northernmost point. That's the beginning of the private property. And then the second thing is that and I don't believe it's a designated vernal pool, but it's an important resource for wildlife.
Yep. And then it was raised, the boardwalk was raised a little bit there so you could
that
go under.
animals can pass underneath.
Yep.
But do you think you can accomplish that with a letter from this group?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, is if we should, I have photographs that I could send. Maybe we should do it at a subsequent meeting.
What?
Ask for that to be formally closed.
Oh,
So you're just asking for signage?
Yeah.
Do
that-
not pass this
Yeah,
point
this
or
is a
something like
closed
that.
area. In the same way, wherever trails are redirected.
okay. You don't think that would attract people? This is closed beyond this point, so I'm going to go beyond this point? No, I mean,
be said
people,
for that.
people. So, yeah, well, think about the consequences of doing that, that's all.
Sometimes it just takes a log in front of the trail to give,
I keep throwing stuff in front of it, and people keep taking it out, so.
Lev is taking it down.
Only do so much.
All right, so, okay.
So what I was going to
Yeah.
offer is, since the silt fence has now been authorized to be removed, and rather than me take it to the dump, if anybody would like to use something to put on their garden to keep the weeds from growing up, see me after the meeting. We'll talk.
Oh, I'll go with my wheelbarrow.
No, look at me. I don't
Now
want-
that I know it's you, I took pictures to,
Yeah, well, you were going
I
to.
thought it was vandalism.
It was actually me.
Was it?
Yeah, I saw her out at the
God, we're guilty,
let's
as all of us.
put this stuff to another use, so.
The salamanders, thank you.
Yes, really.
All right, so you got to check with Doug before you do anything.
No, I had no, I
Ordered. I
I
wanted to
spoke
bring it
with
up at the
Lev.
meeting
And those
first.
two would have gone to jail. Okay. So the next thing on our list is open space plan, and I'm guilty again, and I will send it out by next meeting. I knew it was going to be a busy meeting, so I didn't.
But-
Yes.
But I'd like to say that the town council had their first ever workshop featuring municipal water in our town. And in our open space plan that's been carried for a couple of rounds of rewrites, it said assemble the water commissioners, and that's what the town council did. So that
Yep, well, good.
is finally happening, or has happened. That had been targeted in the action plan. So,
And what was the outcome of that meeting? It was just informational, or?
yeah, it was mostly informational, where each water district, except for Barnstable, they had a conflict that night with another, I think it was the building or the proposal to build a new fire station
Yeah.
was that same night. But it was more an overview of what the status is of the drinking water in the town of Barnstable. And representatives from each water commission came and gave an overview.
Is that available on the town's website? If somebody
It
wants
was
to see it?
videotaped. It was a special town council meeting
Oh, yeah, that was the special town council meeting.
on the 29th.
What date
of
was that
February.
again?
February 29,
Okay, that's right.
Leap Day.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. We have a report from Farley about the community preservation. What?
Oh, you forgot, yes.
Oh.
Santuit.
Did I skip you? I'm sorry, Tracy. Your turn, Tracy,
You're
go.
up.
After the snowstorm in February,
You're talking to that?
after the storm, kind of lightly used. I was out a couple days ago, kind of walked the grounds pretty much. As we noted earlier, the AmeriCorps came out briefly a couple of weeks ago and cut a couple of trees out of the trails just to kind of.
Good.
I was not notified, so I kind of tried to find out what they did after the fact, but they didn't do a whole lot. There was a comment to the effect that they didn't go down to the fish ladder because the steps had been washed out and they felt it was dangerous, which the steps are exactly the same as they've always been. So I didn't know what they were talking about. And that's about it. There's some issues in that big bog that I hope to discuss in that Zoom meeting that we're having.
Okay. Would you like to say when that Zoom meeting is?
I believe it's Wednesday, the 19th of,
At 11 o'clock?
yes. Let me just see if I've got it on here.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Grace reported that on March 4th, 7 AmeriCorps members served the community by clearing the existing trails of fallen tree limbs, brush, and cut back brush overgrowth. The trails were maintained to their existing width. No new trails were created or closed. This annual maintenance we exercise to ensure people can comfortably and safely pass through the trails. So
Yep.
I also read somewhere, and in a summary that she made, that there was it this one? Oh, yeah, okay. I think this is a response to an email you sent for more information, I believe, but or maybe it's a response to me, I don't know. But it was, oh, no, that's not it. she indicated that they were unable to do work because they were afraid of the fish ladder had some issues with that may or may not be the case, and also she was worried about infringing on indigenous rights.
Oh, yeah, that's really,
So,
that ridge line above there is sacred to the Wampanoag.
yeah. But we know that already, don't we? Okay, so the policy that we had in place with contacting everybody is not happening. So we hope that we can reinforce that in the March meeting.
Yeah, I think it's good that that Mashpee's involved as well. I think that's very helpful. I mean, as I walk the more I walk it, the more I realize that probably 90% of that land is in Mashpee. Very little of it is in Barnstable,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a shared resource. So
Exactly. But
I know Mashpee does the lion's share of the work. But how is the fish ladder itself? At one point, it was going to be rebuilt.
that's what we heard, that there was going to be some kind of temporary remediation for this season, I thought. And I did see somebody down there a couple days ago. I didn't go down the hill, but it could have been that they could have been getting the counting device tuned up.
Yeah,
The
it's
guys
herring counting soon, yeah.
guys were actually in the water and hip waders doing something, so I don't think they were going to be able to do anything about the water, and then the state is supposed to do something. I don't know whether we could contact the Mass Wildlife, Steve Hurley, to see if he's heard anything about what they're going to do.
He should be at that meeting.
He should
Yep.
be.
So we'll find out more, I think. All right, so Tracy, do you have anything else to say about Santuit? I didn't mean to skip you.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, Farley.
Okay. I regret to inform you that the CPC has not met since I last saw you, so I have nothing further to report.
Okay. Guess CPC needs somebody to ask for money.
No, it seems like we're having a kind of a flat time here.
So, Kris,
Yes, I don't think I have anything new to report, other than the meeting on water was, significant about taking the long view of how our town provides municipal water and the condition and the safety of it, the availability of it, looking for new sources of water.
I'm sorry Barnstable wasn't there, but they did have a special meeting on the impact of the development in the industrial park to the current resources of the water department and the fire department.
It appeared to me when I was listening to the meeting that they were interested in having a map drawn showing contributing areas to the wells. Yeah, to the wells. Which, I think would be interesting for us as open space people to be able to start identifying more openly what parcels would be of use to the town.
Yeah, we started that process. Kris did, actually, under her leadership when she was chair.
Right.
A bunch of us went around to the different fire districts and they invited us into their executive sessions, and so we weren't in violation of anything. And we identified parcels at that point and distributed them to the Community Preservation Committee chair and the town manager at the time. I think it's been used somewhat in decision-making, but...
Well, it seemed as though there was definitely a call for that,
Yeah.
So since obviously concerns over clean drinking water are really coming to
Yeah.
center stage at this point, so.
Yeah, a lot of our Zone 1 contribution areas have been developed,
Right.
so we want to avoid that. That's what we're trying to do. Okay,
I should say that the town manager has told me that he has had directives from past town councils that the town should be looking for new sources of water on already town-owned property. So he said unless he gets a new directive, that's what the marching orders have been. So I think that might be forthcoming.
yeah, so you have been pushing for something quite different, haven't you?
That if there's 14% of our land left undeveloped, that I think it would be prudent for the town to augment the inventory of properties where possible future water sources could be. Otherwise, we end up desalinating the ocean.
Yeah, well, I agree with you, and I also think that we should be looking, and I've said this before, looking for land, especially on the north side, to put aside for sewage and package plants, because there are parts of Barnstable and West Barnstable that will never be sewered.
Yep,
So,
precisely.
but we are running out of land, especially in Barnstable, because we're only 1 acres. So we are running out of land. So, all right. So does anybody else want to, anything anybody else wants to discuss this evening? Well, you know what's next.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.